I would like to tell you about one of my favourite stories in the archives, the murder of Charles Pinchback in 1772. I saw an intriguing reference to the murder in the catalogue at the County Record Office while I was searching for documents to be used in a workshop for schools. To my delight, the story, though brief, was quite gory, perfect for attracting the attention of school children. The story itself was found in this burial register for the parish of Wyken, Coventry. Registers of baptisms, marriages and burials were kept by the Church of England in 1538, although they don't always survive. Usually, the information in them is brief, but when recording the burial of Charles Pinchback, the vicar felt he needed to provide a fuller account. Charles Pinchback, the register says, was born in the parish of Wyken in 1699, which makes him 72 or 3 years old at the time of his murder. He was gatekeeper at the Turnpike House in the parish of Stoke, near Binley Bridge. The toll house he lived and worked in may have looked a little like this one. Toll houses were built beside barriers across the road known as turnpikes, which halted the traveller for the toll to be collected. At this time, the money or toll collected from travellers went towards road maintenance. The money Charles had collected and stored in his house proved too tempting for two individuals, John Stow and Thomas Farn, who broke into his house early in the morning of November the 3rd, 1772. He received a dangerous wound in his hand by the discharge of a pistol, the anguish of which threw him into a fever, which was the cause of his death. A wound in the hand would be treatable today, but septicemia, or blood poisoning, could be fatal in the 18th century. Antibiotics were not widely available until D-Day in 1944, when penicillin was being widely used to treat troops for infections, both in the field and in hospitals throughout Europe. The coroner's inquest sat upon his body. In other words, an autopsy was carried out. The verdict was willful murder. John Stow and Thomas Farn were executed by hanging upon the hill leading from the Turnpike House towards Coventry in August 1773. Punishments were often carried out near the scene of the crime, and the gibbet from which they hung might have looked like this one near Twycross. Instead of being buried, the bodies of John and Thomas were dissected and anatomised. The bodies of those executed were often used for medical research at this time. It wasn't until 1832 that the British Parliament passed the Anatomy Act, giving freer licence to doctors, teachers of anatomy and medical students to dissect donated bodies. Here is the full transcript if you'd like to read it. It's one of my favourite documents because it's short, it's quite easy to read, and it touches on many interesting topics such as crime, punishment, medicine, and trades. I hope you've enjoyed it too.